Welcome back, America, to another segment of Burnt Coverage. I'm your host, Curtis.
And I'm Joel, and I will welcome all of Europe, too. I won't exclude non-Americans.
We know there's still a strong NFL Europe fan base that's really waiting for the Reinhold Stallions to come back.
There are 4 games in London next year.
There are, and most of them feature the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, actually, 2 of them will have the Redskins.
Really?
They announced the schedule last week, or yesterday.
Wow. Get ready, Kirk Cousins.
Hell
Sorry,
yeah.
Europe. We're not going to send Brady over there. Anyway, wide receivers this week.
I don't know what that was.
Every team has to start 3 to 4 wide receivers, and we try to figure out which ones are going to be good for your fantasy weekend. Joel, do you have any picks at wide receiver this week?
I do. I'm going to start with one of the favorite wide receivers of Burnt Coverage. I'm going to go Allen Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This week they're playing the San Diego Chargers. Last week Robinson went 5 for 7, caught 5 to 7 attempts for 113 yards and a touchdown against a very tough Tennessee Titans pass defense. A-Rob, his new name, leads Jacksonville in receptions, yards, and is tied for the team league in touchdowns. Allen Hurns is still struggling with a little bit of sports hernia. He's going to get surgery after the season. He's going to soldier on and man up and continue to play through it, but sports hernia is a very painful thing. So it's about pain management and how good the painkiller he gets before the game is as to how effective he's going to be. San Diego ranks 17th in the pass defense, giving up almost 250 yards a game through the air. This is the number one offensive option on this team. This is a passing team. Blake Bortles, I think, is also a strong play. I really like the Bortles-Robinson stack this week. And so, yeah, I think that there's going to be some points scored in this game because both defenses are not good. I just question whether San Diego's offense can keep up with Jacksonville's offense, which is something that I never thought I would say out loud.
Yeah.
A-Rob going for 7,300 on DraftKings, and in states where it's still allowed, 7,900 on the duel.
Hope you're enjoying your FanDuel, rest of America. Here from New York, or
Iowa.
Yeah.
Or Nevada.
Nevada.
Or
Washington.
State.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thanks for finally hopping on the Jaguars bandwagon with me.
Finally!
Plenty of room.
I just don't pick 5 of them a week.
I pick at least 2 a week. This week I'm only picking 1. And
I know, and it's the worst one.
And that's the best one. Are you kidding me? TJ Yeldon, if you're looking at the previous segment, I just ruined it, so now you don't have to watch it.
I'll bet you Allen Robinson has more fantasy points than TJ Yeldon. You're so scared to make bets. God, this is a gambling show. I mean, it's a skill show.
Wait. Yeah, Cena just ruined everything for us now.
Sorry, Schneiderman.
I do want to say Allen Robinson has actually been helped, I think, by Allen Hurns this year, which is always seems to be the case when you have I think Allen Robinson is a great receiver, and I think Allen Hurns is a very good receiver. Allen Robinson could be a 1 on a lot of teams. He certainly possesses the talent.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know if he's going to supplant, Antonio Brown on the Steelers or anything. I'm just saying on a lot of teams he would be their number 1
A lot of teams, I think there might be a handful of teams where he would be a number 1.
Well,
He's a good number 1.
Panthers, Ravens.
Panthers now, next year, no. He would be second.
Not better than Kelvin Benjamin?
No, not at all.
Interesting. Anyway, we digress. I do like Allen Robinson. Almost every week he steps on the field. I think he's a good talent. The only problem is his price has slowly gone up as he's having the season that he's having. So there's always a bit of risk. San Diego is actually decent against the pass, and they're just so god-awful against the run. It's ridiculous. That's why I was going more of a run-heavy game with insert Jaguar running back here. Look in the segment to see who that is. But Allen Hurns' injury actually might hurt Allen Robinson in some ways if he's slowed at all, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Allen Hurns is pretty tough. He's been playing through a lot of injuries.
Didn't hurt him against the Jets.
Did not. And I think Allen Robinson is a solid pick. You're going to pay for him now, though, is the only problem.
Yeah, but he's not top 10. So he's outside the top 10 in prices. So to get a number 1 wide receiver outside of top 10 prices, sign me up.
You also have to deal with Blake Bortles' inconsistency. And
yeah, but I also have to deal with San Diego's terrible defense.
That's true. And San Diego now has nothing to play for. And the Jaguars do have something to play for. They're still in the race for the
very
to win their
much
division.
in the hunt.
And there's a very good chance that the Raiders beat the Titans and the Bucks beat the Colts, and then the Jaguars are tied with both of those teams for the divisional lead.
Nothing scarier than a young, hungry team.
Yeah, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. But Bortles always starts slow, so if you do play on Allen Robinson and
second half.
The first quarter for Bortles, he just doesn't have it. I don't know. He needs to have a longer warm up or something.
Wake up earlier.
He's awful. It's some 30-yard kind of.
But it's usually around the end of the second quarter is when he really kicks in it. He plays really good for 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll change, but as he matures. But yeah, Allen Robinson's a guy to keep it, especially next year in your draft. Don't sleep on Allen Robinson.
Who do you got?
Who do I got? I got a guy that I got a guy who I first learned to love when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. One of the more exciting players when he can actually get his ass on the field, and that's Deshaun Jackson.
Not who I thought you were going to say.
Jeremy Maclin?
Yeah.
No, come on. Deshaun Jackson, 5,100 in DraftKings and 6,300 in FanDuel. So this week you have a lot of great wide receivers that you're going to be able to play. You have ODB, you have DeAndre Hopkins, Julio, Larry Fitzgerald. All these players have been fantastic. They're all elite options, and they're all going to be people you're paying for. So, and I'm going to squeeze probably all these guys into some lineup, randomly if I can. They all have good matchups. However, I need to find some low-end guys, and Deshaun Jackson has been a guy that I've been waiting for all year. Kirk Cousins, his main tool is his big arm, and with a big arm, you want to have. With a big arm comes great responsibility, and he is not. He's
terrible.
Sorry. He has Deshaun Jackson, and they brought him in there for a reason, and that is to run one route, which is go deep, which he has made a career out of. And he's made a career basically out of beating the New York Giants, who are the Redskins' foe this week. The Giants are giving up the most yards to receivers. They are 32nd in yards to receivers so far this year. And Deshaun Jackson's stock is buoyed by the fact that Jordan Reed is hampered by a sprained or strained MCL. They're not being...
What's new?
Yeah, exactly. So this is, half the year you get... If Jordan Reed is healthy, play him, and then you don't have to worry about it because the other weeks he's not healthy. The MCL injury, they still think he's going to play. However, if you look at Jordan Reed's stat lines the past few weeks, he's been touchdown dependent. He's basically turned into Richard Rodgers. So I really like the fact that I think the Giants are going to put up a ton of points in the Redskins defense, which is god-awful, and they're going to have to throw to Deshaun Jackson more and deep. Deshaun Jackson still has something in his head that makes him think that he is a top-end wide receiver. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but whenever a top-end wide receiver plays another top-end wide receiver, they usually put on a good game. ODB is going to be on the other side. And this is going to just be a high-scoring game. And Deshaun Jackson, 5,100, he's certainly going to get his shots. Whether he takes advantage of those, I don't know. But as we know, Prince Amukamara, I don't even know if he's back. It doesn't matter if he is back. He sucks anyway.
You won't be able to tell if he's there or not.
Yeah, exactly. So no real threat from the corners there. I see Kirk Cousins airing the ball out a lot, especially to Deshaun. Pierre Garçon is the possession receiver of this team. Really, Jordan Reed is, but if he's injured, Pierre Garçon gets short passes. Deshaun will be your moneymaker in daily and weekly fantasy leagues.
I disagree because, as we all know, Deshaun Jackson is a one-trick pony, as you said. He's the ultimate boomer bust play. But I disagree in that, like you said in an earlier segment, these division games tend to go one way or another. They tend to be very low scoring and tight, very high scoring and tight. I think it's going to be a very ugly game because it's set up to be a very high scoring game. So when the stars align for it to be a high scoring game, it's usually very disappointing, aka the Oakland-Detroit game last week. And Eli Manning has a great habit of playing down to his competition. He plays up to his competition and down to his competition. And Kirk Cousins is definitely below him in skill level. Kirk Cousins is a turnover machine, and Eli Manning can be a turnover machine as well. This is going to be one of the ugliest, most awful games of the week. I want nothing to do with it.
Both of these defenses are just so terrible. I feel like if you don't have a dog in this race somewhere, it's going to hurt you. And I want the one that, Deshaun Jackson, 5 for 87 and a touchdown last week. He paid off his price, and he's going to get, he's going to get these shots.
He's not going to do it 2 weeks in a row. When's the last time he did it 2 weeks in a row? He was wearing Kelly Green last time he did it 2 weeks in a row.
He's going to get at least 2 long balls thrown his way. He catches one of them, he basically covers.
He'll get 4 targets, but it matters whether he catches one or not. No thank you. He's in a gang.
I like him more. He's in a gang. Who do you got? Some white bread guy never been in a gang in his life?
Yes, I do. He plays for the Oakland Raiders.
Hey!
Home of gangs. I don't know. I like Oakland. Michael Crabtree going against Tennessee Titans. So Oakland was all around terrible last week, and their 18-13 loss to Detroit. Crabtree still caught 6 passes out of 11 targets for 50 yards. So his worst game of the season, but he still got the 11 targets, which I really find to be an encouraging stat line because he still is leading that team in targets over phenom rookie Amari Cooper, who's fallen off the map quite a bit for the past few weeks. I think this is a complete bounce back game for the entire Oakland offense. I like Derek Carr a lot in this game as well. And this is the same Tennessee team that just gave up 5 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown to Jacksonville's number 1 wide receiver, and Allen Robinson, like I just mentioned. And Michael Crabtree is the de facto number 1 wide receiver on this Oakland team. Don't be fooled just because Amari Cooper has a bigger name. He is not the number 1 wide receiver. Amari Cooper is the number 2 wide receiver on this team. Crabtree is the leader in targets, receptions, and yards. I'd like Oakland to put up a lot of points, and Crabtree's going to lead the way.
Yeah, and if you've been watching, Crabtree comes up quite a bit. And very, very early, I picked Crabtree to have a breakout year. Somebody else said, no way.
Not on camera.
But here we are. Oh, thank you, not on camera.
6,400 on DraftKings, 6,500 on FanDuel.
Crabtree was a top 10 draft pick, was with terrible quarterbacks in San Francisco.
Wow.
Not so great quarterbacks in San Francisco.
Yes.
And now is with Carr is going to be a quarterback in this league for another 10 years at least. He's a very solid quarterback. He makes good decisions.
He's the best second-year quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, who else? Bortles
and
whoever.
Johnny Manziel.
Oh, ouch. And for my money, I think Bortles and Carr still haven't really separated themselves that much. Bortles having a fantastic year in his own right. But back to Crabtree, he has proven himself. Amari Cooper is also getting a lot of the number 1 corner coverage for some reason. I think the hype is paying off. Anybody that watched Cooper in college knows how great he is, and Cooper will be great and still have his good games. But Crabtree's consistently done well, and I think a solid pick this week. Almost any week, Crabtree, as long as his price doesn't climb above anything, he's going to get his targets, he's going to get his catches. He's actually been really good possession receiver. Some of the catches he made, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? He had a couple of catches along the sideline that didn't count, but he caught them and he got like 1 foot in or something. He's really a quality receiver. I'm actually surprised at how well
he's playing for a contract, and he's playing in an offense where he can do that. And I think you're right. As long as the price doesn't climb, like I think $7,000 is the threshold for as much as I would be willing to spend on Michael Crabtree, and he's still well below that. So I think he's a great value play.
I'm gonna go to a team that I like.
Mike Evans.
You're really close here.
Austin Safari.
God, you're so close. No, it's
Work done.
no. It's work done this week. Work done's gonna make a
Dirt
comeback.
cheap.
I see a 100 game from him.
Mike Allstott.
Oh God, man! Can we get Mike Allstott? Too bad his neck is fused to his shoulders.
Aren't all
no.
the necks fused to our shoulders?
Not with a steel rod.
Oh.
Vincent Jackson is actually the buck of choice this week for wide receivers. Vincent Jackson, 4,700 in DraftKings, 6,400 in FanDuel. You might remember Vincent Jackson from having 1,000 yards for every year that he's played. This year, he probably won't get that because we have Mike Evans. The offense is more towards the run, and Vincent Jackson's been injured. However, Vincent Jackson is back from his injury after missing 4 weeks. They were cautious with him. And now we have him coming off of a 4-reception, 56 yards and a touchdown game where Jameis Winston could throw the ball at will to whoever was open because everybody was open. Even Connor Brake got 2 touchdowns.
Exactly. Who?
If you don't know who that is, then you don't watch Bucs games. But Vincent Jackson is going to be a very high ceiling play this week, and that's because they're playing the Colts in Indy, and Vontae Davis will be shadowing Mike Evans. I know, yes, Vontae Davis did shadow Julio Jones last week, and Julio Jones had over 100 yards, but that's Julio Jones. He beats everybody. Mike Evans will struggle a little bit this week against Vontae Davis.
Vontae Davis is actually questionable.
Oh, he's questionable.
Yeah, he's not. They're as of now. They're saying that he probably is not looking like he'll play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then Bucs all the way. Whoever you want to play, anybody, play them all. I should have played them all last week. Sorry about that, guys. But even if Vontae Davis doesn't play, Vincent Jackson has come back into the fold. He's still a cheap price, and he's still a guy who has been a number one threat. And was actually a 1,000-yard receiver last year when the Bucs were awful with Mike Glennon.
How many touchdowns did he have
some
last
other
year?
guy? 1.
2. Didn't he have 2
Vincent
touchdowns
Jackson?
last year?
Oh, last year, yeah, he did have 2 touchdowns. Yeah, but with no quarterback play. Now they have all-world Jameis Winston as their quarterback. Rookie of the year, Jameis Winston. And so, yeah, I like Vincent Jackson this week. And with all the attention going to be put on Mike Evans, no matter who it is, they'll put whoever their new number 1 corner that's not Vontae Davis on Mike Evans, probably double Mike Evans. Vincent Jackson's going to have a lot of room to roam.
I don't even want to talk about any of the Bucs.
You don't because you know I'm right. You can't even argue against it. You've seen the glory of the Buccaneers.
Over making this argument. They're not very good. They had a great game last week. Tip the hat. Doug Martin, Jameis, whatever his last name is. Lovey, whatever his name is. Well played. I'm over it.
So yeah, inexpensive Vincent Jackson. And big guy, big red zone threat. I see good things coming.
There's a lot better, cheaper things in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to any of the great Tampa Bay strip clubs, really what they're known for. Unfortunately, you can't get a good Tampa Bay Strippers wasn't a good NFL name, but it was in the running in the late 70s though. But yeah, really high.
Because little known fact, 90% of all women born in Tampa Bay turn out to be strippers.
It's true. It's true. Look it up. Mercedes was the number 1 baby name in 1990.
Of course it was.
Acura was second. We got anybody else here?
Nope.
All right. For more on the strip clubs of Tampa Bay, look at my website.
Or don't look at the website.
You must be 18 to enter. I've been your host, Curtis.
And I'm Joel.
And we hope to see you next segment.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving from the couch.